Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Eileen, and this is another journey into the world of what Google thinks about empathy. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. And if this is your first video, then first off, welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. And you might want to take a look at the previous video, because that was kind of the foundation for what we're doing. This is part 2. Because apparently Google still has more questions that it decided to fill in when I just typed in, is empathy? And I got some kind of interesting questions. So let's jump right in to the first question. Is empathy rare? I believe that it's not as rare as most people think, and it is, the interesting part is I kind of divide up empathy into a couple of different categories. One is just generally being able to, feel a connection to somebody, to go, oh wow, I can see where you're coming from. If somebody else feels bad, you feel bad for them. And kind of a deep down desire, at least for most people, to not want other people to feel bad, and that they feel good when somebody else is happy. So there's just sort of a general feeling, which I think most people have. The actual ability to resonate and connect with anything energetic, and that I don't limit it to emotion. I include everything in that. But emotion is one of the things that as a communal species, we interact with each other, and often it's based in emotion. How we feel about someone, how we feel about a situation. And the ability to really, physically, mentally, spiritually connect and feel what it is that another person is experiencing. And, and that can be whether we're with them or not. There's lots of stories about people who suddenly get an overwhelming desire to call someone, and then when they do, it's like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. So when we talk about that level of empathy, and even within empathic resonance, there are grades, and there's a lot of schools of thought on, different levels of what that means. Just to answer the basic question, is it rare? No, I don't believe so. Now, is it rare for people to be able to really understand it, and to not just understand it, but to be able to actually utilize it as a tool? I feel that right now that's on the rare side, but I do believe those numbers are growing. And a part of my doing this whole year of focusing on empathy is that I want more and more people to understand it, to be able to embrace it, to really be able to see the full scope of what being an empath does mean, and it's amazing and it's wonderful. And I do want people to be able to see the big picture on what that is. So for now, I would say at that level it's rare, but fingers crossed it won't be for too much longer, that a lot of people will really pick up on it, and they will explore the full range of what their empathy can do, and that eventually everybody will be able to connect with that. Is empathy pity? No, empathy is not pity. Empathy isn't just about feeling bad for someone. Yes, when you're empathic and someone is really in a bad way, when they're wounded, when they're not feeling good, yes, we can resonate with that, and we can show compassion. I mean, empathy is no more pity than compassion is pity, which it is not. We can resonate with good feelings. We can resonate with angry feelings. We can resonate with anything. Does that make us pity people? No. I mean, it's different. Pity is like, it's like, oh, wow, I feel bad for what's happening to you. Empathy is, I feel what's happening to you as if it's happening to me. So, it does make for a good opportunity to show and express compassion. But empaths can also, if somebody is in like a real pity party mode and they need to get out of it, an empath can be very good at going, okay, I know that you don't really feel as bad as you want other people to think you feel. So let's get real about this. If you want to solve a problem, fine. But if you just want to project this false image to everybody else, I really don't have time for that. I mean, that's empathy at its bluntness. I mean, that goes back to that question, can empaths be mean, from the last video, which we can be very, very blunt. So does being empathic automatically mean that you fall into pitying people? No, it doesn't. That can go into a lot of other personality traits and other qualities that can lead to that. But just on empathy alone, no, it does not mean that we automatically pity, and it is not the same as pity. Is empathy born? Which I think it probably wanted to ask, are people born with empathy or empathic? Again, we divide whether or not, because empathy, just as a general compassion piece, is based on how we grow and our life experiences. That creates our relationship with, whether or not we have the capacity to feel bad or be able to connect with people. Being empathic, it's like, being born with the ability of telepathy or precognition or being, a great basketball player or things like that. It goes into that nature versus nurture. In my opinion, yes, to have the ability to resonate is something that you are born with. Does that mean that somebody who maybe doesn't have those inclinations so much at birth, because I do believe that everybody has that little, at least a little sliver of it. So can that be developed to a more advanced level? Now, are some people born at a much higher level of resonance and just automatically have that? Yes, I do believe that they just come into this world. We see children who are tremendously sensitive from a very young age, and I have seen it and experienced it, where it's just, wow, this little individual is really attuned. Those are the ones that really need to be guided in their abilities and how to use them and how to turn them off and all of that. Could somebody be born with just like a little bit of it and have it developed? Absolutely. But yes, to be empathic, to be a resonant with the potential for all energies, yes, that is something that I believe you are born with. But I do believe everybody's born with just at least a tiny little bit of it. Is empathy or sympathy better? I would say that it's not an either or. Because as I've said, empathy is not the same as pity, and it's not the same as sympathy. Sympathy can be an aspect of empathy. And, it's wonderful to be able to sympathize with people, to be able to, to go, wow, I'm really sorry you're going through that. I'm really sorry for your loss. And it's really, such a wonderful aspect of humanity that we do have that capacity. But there's a place where sympathy stops, where I feel bad for what you're going through. And as I said before, empathy means I feel what you're going through. I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad with you. So, I don't really think that it's comparable. It's sort of like, well, if all oranges are orange, does that mean that everything that is orange isn't orange? It's like, nope. The other saying is like, if all bananas are yellow, then everything yellow is a banana. Which technically all bananas aren't yellow, but, we won't go into that. So the idea that, they're separate pieces. Sympathy can be a part of empathy, and Empaths, of course, can feel sympathy, but I don't really, to me, they really aren't comparable because, it's sort of like comparing a banana to an orange. They're each great on their own, and they don't necessarily cross over in that many places. One is not required for another because, an empath or empathy can be based in many different emotions and many different energies. So I would say the answer to that is they're not the same, so you really can't compare them. Is empathy a trait? Yeah, it is. It is a trait. It's an ability. I think that to ask if it's a trait kind of goes into that, kind of putting it in a box. It's like, well, it means that you're sympathetic. It means that you're compassionate. It means that, you are able to see other people's viewpoints. And yes, while all of those are true, it's not limited to that. And I mean, because empathy is the ability to resonate energetically with anything and doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with emotion. There are many people who utilize empathy in healing, and it's about creating a resonance with the person you're working with. I know that that's done because I do it myself. And it is, it's different than dealing with emotions. I mean, yes, part of somebody's problem may be an emotion, but if it's dealing with something physical within them, you can resonate with that too. You can resonate with trees. You can resonate with everything around you. I live surrounded by nature. I'm very blessed that way. To live in a cabin on the mountain, on a mountain surrounded by trees and near a river. I can sit by the river or even just sit inside my cabin and I can feel the natural world around me. And it is amazing. It's wonderful. I recommend it to anybody who, can do that. And, do I believe that it is just something that kind of, is a personality aspect? I don't believe empathy is a personality aspect. The way it manifests can be personality, but it runs so much deeper and it's so much broader than just our personality. It is a part of who we are and what we are. So it can be a trait, but it is not exclusively a trait or a personality aspect. It is a state of being. Is empathy a value? I'm kind of gathering that is empathy valuable or is it a benefit? To me, empathy is definitely a benefit. Empathy has huge value in my life, mainly because it has so many, aspects in what I do as a chiropractor, as a reverend, as a medicine woman, as, in all these ways, my empathic ability, the ability to resonate, and I utilize it as resonating with everything. That aspect is, it's tremendously valuable. And I think it's valuable for most people. I do believe it can also be a detriment when it is not managed, when it makes our decisions for us, when we don't have free will because we're constantly pulled by our empathic instincts. Empathy is a part of you, but it's only one part of you. You have a whole amazing, realm of things that are a part of you. So, just having that one is not the of all and be all of what you are. So I would answer that question absolutely yes, when it is used in the right way. I mean, is water a value? Yes, unless you're dealing with a tidal wave. So the idea of, it being valuable is how we use it and how we, allow ourselves to be empowered enough to go, okay, in this situation, I really don't need empathy. But it's a wonderful tool to have in your toolkit. Is empathy an emotion? So, It is not. No, I don't believe empathy in and of itself is an emotion. Empathy is a doorway that emotions can come through, and it is a filter for how we respond to those emotions because we become very connected to them. So, is empathy anger? Is empathy fear? No, it's not. And, as I've said before, and I will say many times again, empathy is not limited to emotions. That's looking at it from a very, very small perspective. Empathy is the ability to connect and resonate with any energetic force, any energetic being, any energetic presence or consciousness. We can learn to resonate with it. And so empathy goes so far beyond emotion. And once you reach that point where it's like, oh wow, I really get it, I feel it, I see it, I experience it, believe me, it changes everything. It changes your life, it changes your relationships, it changes your entire perspective on the universe. And because that's my experience, that is why I want so much for other people to understand empathy and to appreciate it and to realize that it is not automatic. It doesn't have to be. It can be a choice. So, that's my goal, to help people realize that. Is it an emotion? It connects to it, but it is so far beyond that. It is so much more, and you are so much more. So, that's it for the questions for today. I think I will do like one more video. If you have questions about empathy or anything else, please contact me and ask your questions. I will address them on the video. If you have a topic that you want to discuss sort of a little more one-on-one, then just you can contact me through my Facebook group, Medicine Walk with Dr. Eileen. You can leave me a comment in the comment section. You can reach me through my email address, which is in the description, and you can follow me on Twitter and direct message me through that. And if you like this video, please, please, please press like. And, if you would be generous enough to consider subscribing, it doesn't cost you anything. And you can, that would help me out and help out the channel. I really want to grow this into something that is really something big that can help a lot of people. So we're up to 111 subscribers. So I would really, really love, I need at least 1,000 to be able to become a partner for YouTube. So that would help me out a whole bunch, and it would help me grow the channel. So if you would consider that, that would be awesome. And if you want to support me in a bigger way, then you can go to the link for my Patreon account that is also in the description. And that would be really awesome. But a subscription would just help. And if you think this is of value to anybody else, please feel free to share the video. So, thank you for joining me. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you, and see you next time. Bye.